Hello everyone, Dr. John Bartemus here today to talk about a topic that is important to everyone on the planet. And this topic is relationships. Whether you're talking about a relationship with a wife, or just a relationship with a friend, or a co-worker, or just someone you met yesterday. Relationships are very important because we are social creatures, and for us to be totally fulfilled in life, we have to have at least one great relationship with someone that we can share our deepest feelings with. Now, with it being a new year, one of my resolutions has been to deepen my relationship with my wife. Now, we've known each other for coming up on 9 years and been married for coming up on 6 years. So the newness, you would say, and the in-love period is over with. And that's a natural progression of relationships as you've been with someone longer and longer. I'm reading a book called The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman, and this book is awesome and has the potential to change my relationship with my wife and your relationship with your loved one, or just your relationship with everyone you come into contact with. And in the book, Dr. Chapman talks about how the in-love period or the obsession period of relationships early on, when your new girlfriend or boyfriend can do no wrong and you don't see the flaws, you're just smitten by them and can't wait to talk to them on the phone at every lunch break, and immediately when you get out of work on your drive home and you're just consumed by thoughts of your new love. That in-love period ends typically in 2 years. So the average in-love period is 2 years, the obsessed phase. After that, Dr. Chapman says, is when the real love begins, or when the real work of love begins. After that 2-year period is when you start to get mad at your loved one for there being hair in the sink, or for there being white flecks on the mirror from them brushing their teeth, or for them leaving their socks on the carpet or not doing the dishes. So now you start to see the flaws. You've come back down from cloud 9 and you realize, man, this person isn't perfect and they have flaws, and what was I thinking? Or yes, this person has flaws, but this person is still the one for me, and I'm going to stay with them and I'm going to work through it. And so that's where I'm at. I've been out of that in-love phase for a long time, because if we've been together 9 years, it's been 7 years since that phase. But obviously I love her, I married her, and I want to continue to build and grow on our relationship. So this book is great because he says many issues in relationships, or problems in marriage, or disagreements are because people have a certain love language that is not the same love language as the person they're communicating with. So, for example, if I was speaking to my wife and she only spoke Spanish but I spoke English, we're not going to communicate well. I'm going to be frustrated and our relationship is going to undergo some tension. But if I learn Spanish, that's showing her that I'm investing in her and I love her enough to do that, then we can communicate, our relationship gets better. And so on a practical standpoint, Dr. Chapman says there are 5 love languages. There's physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, and quality time. And so what you need to do is figure out what's the love language of your loved one, or the person you're trying to communicate with, and is that love language the same as yours? If it is, great. You know how to communicate with that person innately because that's your love language. But if their love language is different than yours, then you need to learn how to speak to them in their love language to make them feel loved and fulfilled, and in return you feel loved and fulfilled, because when they feel loved and fulfilled, they're going to love and fulfill you back in your language. So for the men out there, the saying, a happy wife means a happy life, that's what this is all about. Learning her love language, speaking to her in that language, and in return getting the love back that you used to get in the in-love phase. So does this all make sense to you? Is it a worthwhile endeavor and a worthwhile book to read? Absolutely. So I'm reading it now, and the first few pages I picked up some huge tips with my wife right away, because I recognize her love language is different than mine. I know what hers is, and I know things right away that I can change and fix or do to make her feel more loved, which will, in return make me feel more loved, make our relationship tighter, make us better parents to our daughters and better examples to everyone in the community. So I highly recommend the book, The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. If you want to read it to deepen your relationship with your husband, wife, spouse, loved one, I highly, highly recommend it, because that will lower your mental stress and your relationship stress, which will make your whole life better. If you want to use it to communicate in business, it applies just the same way. Every day we meet people that are people just like us that require love to feel fulfilled. So do you think you'll have a better shot at making the sale if the person feels loved by you? And I don't mean like a hippie love, but like a love that they know that you understand them and you communicate with them. You're speaking their language. They speak Spanish, you speak English. You know Spanish. You can communicate with them. You can make the sale. So if the person you're interacting with is someone that feels loved from words of affirmation, you can encourage them, compliment them on what's going on, etc. That may give you an advantage in making the sale, or at least in deepening the relationship with that person, if that's a relationship you want to grow in. So I'm Dr. John Bartemus. I'm bringing you tips to improve your health by decreasing your stress. And mental stress is the most common stressor in our society today. And relationship stress is probably the #1 cause of mental stress. So if you want to improve your relationship, get the 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman, and email me at acceleratechiropractic@gmail.com, or write on my Facebook page and let me know how this book has changed your relationship and therefore changed your life. Have a great day.